Hello, all. Welcome to another episode of Direct Shift Stories, and we will begin now. And today we are joined with Barbara Goldman again. And let's hit the 30-second timer before we officially start. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Good afternoon. So this should also be a marketing meet, or probably we can call it post-lunch marketing, or we can call it as corporate marketing, anything which has to do with the executive roles and the pressure in terms of achieving our targets, I should say. But thank you so much again for being here. This is one of my favorite shows, I could say, probably anything to do with work, anything to do with job or recruitment. I guess this is something which I look forward to. A strategy session with Barbara again, talking about the kind of things which you have. Again, suffering is definitely an optional thing, but again, with the kind of corporate culture which is there, the kind of sanity which we go through our careers. So please share any experiences you have for this week as to what professionals might be doing.
I had a couple really interesting conversations this week, and they were with professionals who were at the very top of their game, the very top.
Okay.
Um, and they were miserable. They were miserable. And the question to me was, why can't I go backwards? Why can't I take a job like I had 6 years ago that wouldn't be as stressful, not as much money, but who cares? Because right now I don't care. And nobody will interview me. And that's what happens. You don't always have to want bigger and better. And so I think that a lot of people, and there were two people. One, her next position would be the very top at the CEO level. And I said, "Do you want it?" "No, I don't want it. I wanna go back to where I'm even just an individual contributor." That's where she wants to be. But uh, when she thinks about interviewing for something like that, or she has applied for something like that, she's not selected for the interview. So, I just think that there's a lot of people. Work can be hell, and when you're making money, and both of these people make a lot of money, and when you're making money, there's a reason. And just because there's another step up the ladder doesn't mean you have to take it to be happy. Maybe you're happy in the level you're at. You just need to switch companies, and you'll be happier.
Yeah, again, as you mentioned, individual role, people might feel comfortable. They are in the comfort zone of contributing for whatever the strengths which they have. But moment they come to an executive role, like being responsible for a team of people, I guess that's where the huge pressure kicks in, and that's where you feel that work is totally hell and that suffering is optional. So, how did you deal with this CEO level executive?
Well, I find this a lot. And what we're doing is, first of all, there's two different stories, but they have to decide what they really want. What do they really want? Look at the career. Where were you the happiest? For example, what if somebody is a chief nursing officer, but they hate being a chief nursing officer? And it's usually all about the people, okay? But instead, that person would like to go and just be perhaps a supervisor or a manager or have a smaller job. Then you just have to first decide that that's what you want. Then you apply for those smaller jobs. And in that application, you let them know what you can do for them. And uh, you don't have to necessarily explain why you're going backwards, but what you can do for them, and then get an interview. Because once you talk to someone and they understand that you have a lot of value, then you're likely to get an interview. But if they're just going to look at your resume and make that decision, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, we have to cut down our CV, our resume with the kind of responsibilities which we hold, and go back to our 6 year older self, or probably the kind of challenges which we had in 2015 or probably 2014, I guess, is way too different than the kind of challenges which we are facing now, maybe due to the post pandemic pressure.
Hmm.
uh, and when you mentioned chief nursing officer, I had a couple of nurses on top of my head whom we had conversation with. That's amazing example. Thank you for sharing that. So, um, what needs to be done next? Like, is there any strategic way, or are there any tactics one can apply apart from cutting down their strengths or responsibilities on their CV?
Actually, you can, on your CV, at the top of the CV, you'll want to put the name of the job that you are applying to. For example, if right now you are a chief nursing officer, but you want to apply to a director of nursing job, then you will put at the top, job applied for director of nursing. That has to go at the top of your resume. If it doesn't, and most people will have at the top of their resume their current title. You
Okay.
don't want to see that. You want to put a position applied for, and then they can go down and see um, what your current job is. But what that'll do is that will show them that, yeah, he or she is interested in this job. It'll help pull up that resume. And then when you have a chance to talk, then they're going to ask you, why would you want a director level job when you're a CNO? And there's a lot of reasons. It could be, we don't look at, oh, I hate being a CNO. I don't want to do that anymore. No, we look at, because then you look like a loser. Okay. No, you can't look like a loser. So you would say something like, the best part of my career was when I was a director of nursing, because I felt more connection with patients, or whatever the reason is, that you can look at a positive of what you can bring to that party, not what you hate about what's going on now. And when they ask you about what you hate about what's going on now, you never tell them. That's when you lie, because you can't say anything negative. So you have to come up with a good answer. And the answer is that you do like your job, but you would rather be doing this other thing because of those reasons. You just snap it right back. And so that you're telling them why you want the job, what you can do for them in a positive way. Everything positive. Everything positive.
And how do we get this clarity? Because when we apply now, for this particular example, somebody who had applied for director of nursing instead of being a chief nursing officer, where do we get the clarity? Though there is a less pay or less reward on whatever the role which is being applied for, how does one achieve the clarity?
Well, you're going to be paid less for that new role.
Yeah,
So
that's
when they ask about what the kind of money you're looking for, tell them. And just know, if you're a CNO, you know what your directors are making. Okay. And you kind of know. Okay. So that's what you say is what you're looking for. Because they need to know that you're not out of their ballpark, because you know that you're not going to make as much money. You're just not.
okay.
And so it's for people who, and I know this is hard for people to understand, but there is a point where you make more money than you need to make. And at that point is when you become miserable in your job. I mean, the things that you don't like about your job are magnified when you're making a lot more money than you need.
Yeah,
If you are making just what you need, then that is not even an issue. The money isn't an issue, you
but
know?
but how does one achieve or grow bigger? People say accept the challenges, face the difficult things, or that's how your personality is going to expand. How does one achieve or dream bigger?
Oh, yeah, you can dream. Okay, let's talk about dreams.
The dreams.
If everything that happens is because you think about it, you know, and I'm not saying that this is, I think that I'm going to be a lottery winner and so I am. No, that's not what I'm saying. Everything you plan in your life, what you want to be when you grow up, do you want to buy a house? You have all of these dreams, and those things come true. Now, eventually, they eventually do happen. Maybe not exactly like you thought they were going to happen, but they happen. And so when you dream, some people dream big and some people dream small. They don't want the stress in their life that a bigger dream includes. A big dream is going to include all that stuff that comes with it, all the stress that comes with it, all the tests that you have to take to get there. So yeah. So
I
that's
mean,
why some. Mhm.
yeah. So bigger dreams, bigger stress, or is it smaller dreams, no stress at all? How does the correlation work? Now, this would be the last question for the day. But again, um, I mean, the more uh, it's like the bigger the dream, the higher the stress, or can it be
The
one
bigger
dream
the
success?
no, the bigger the job, and we're just talking about jobs. Let's say you dream about being the CEO of a company or the chief nursing officer or, any of these executive level jobs. That comes with stress. So you have to decide, is the money worth the stress?
Okay.
You know? Yeah. How much money do you need? And is the money worth the stress? And would you be happy with the money in a job that's less stressful? Because it's just going to happen. You can't make a lot of money unless you see these things online, become a skillionaire, become a this, become a that. That's going to happen, but in its own time. You can't do anything overnight. Nothing happens overnight. So you just have to be realistic, and things happen. Put one foot in front of the other.
And how do one achieve the synchrony when somebody is in a higher level or probably in an executive role or leadership role? How does one achieve the synchrony among all the team members to focus on their goals?
Oh my goodness, that's a whole book. But one of the things to do is to focus on a good message. When you need people to focus on a goal, you have to get them all involved. Do they understand the need for this? They need to understand the why. If they understand the why, they need to understand how will it affect them, why it's good for them, And then you get everybody involved that way, because it's always what's in it for me with people and how's it going to affect me. And that you get, and then how can I use my strengths? You look at the strengths of your team and you let them use their strengths so that everyone's going towards the same goal.
Awesome. So definitely the consequences could be different for the kind of work or effort which we put in.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for this wonderful insights in a quick short time of 15 minutes. Probably this could be like a coffee job show or job coffee show, or probably we can call it quick snippets of or the golden nuggets of work culture. But thank you so much for your valuable time, Barbara.
You are very welcome. It's my
I'll see
pleasure.
you. I'll see you in another episode again, talking about work is hell, suffering is optional. Probably we'll talk about a few other examples sometime next week. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Take care. Bye bye.